Nic Cage is set to play the Tiger King, Community is getting back together, Space Force drops a trailer, Taika Waititi gets a deal to direct a Star Wars movie, and our thoughts on the Clone Wars series finale, plus more on You Heard with Nerds.
Welcome on into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And we got some nerd news for you. Nic Cage is the Tiger King.
Was he always the Tiger King?
I think he was.
I think he was born to play the Tiger King.
Honestly, I don't know what he's been doing recently. Like, I have no idea, but...
Apparently making a third National Treasure movie, but we haven't heard anything about that.
No. Disney's been playing that close to the vest.
Yeah.
So he's set to play the Joe Exotic in a CBS series that's going to be 8 episodes long. And then based on a Texas Monthly article.
Yeah, apparently this is not really taking cues from like the Netflix show. Apparently there was like a monthly article from Texas that covered Joe Exotic and like just his scandals and stuff like, stuff
makes
along those lines. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of Tiger King projects in the works for just a documentary here.
About some psycho.
Yeah, I mean, there's for starters, there's a separate show focusing on Carol Baskin, at least we assume that is. There's a Rob Lowe TV project that Rob Lowe is doing. We don't know exactly what it is. But
so this is separate from Nic Cage's
This is
thing.
separate from Nic Cage's whole thing. There's a docuseries investigating the mystery of Carol Baskin, which, come on, we all know she killed her husband here. And
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it gets real wild. Like, you just only watch one episode, right?
I couldn't get past the first episode. I thought it was pure garbage.
Yeah, I mean... Basically, I saw a meme a couple weeks back that said, Joe Exotic is basically the equivalent of what's Mario is to Wario.
Oh yeah,
but for Steve Irwin.
Yeah,
I mean
that makes sense.
No, it's accurate. And then there's also a movie happening.
Yeah,
on this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I mean, I just did not get into this series like a lot of people did. So for me, I'm just kind of like, they're really reaching for content right now.
Yeah.
Like on every platform. And my theory is if Corona didn't happen, like if Corona wasn't a thing and we were just going about our lives like normal, this show would not have gotten watched.
No, I think it would have gotten watched. It just would not be as big as it was like,
that's
for
what
a
I mean,
mainstream audience here. Yeah. I think it would just been like, mostly boiled down to the people who typically go in for like, crime docuseries or, stuff along this ilk essentially here. But no, this is like a classic example of like timing is everything. And,
oh yeah,
I'm just really surprised that, all these producers that think, okay, we're going to milk the crap out of Tiger King here. That they are Tiger King has like only been out for like what, like maybe 2 months or something like that. Like,
yeah, something like that.
Is anybody going to care like, a year, 2 years down the line when all these projects actually see the light of day about all this other stuff? I mean, yeah, it's just ridiculous here. I think just people just really just trying to capitalize on something that we don't even know if it's like really actually going to have a lasting impact here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the full story. I know Tiger King's in jail.
Yeah, no, he is.
So we're just basically making him rich.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's seeing a penny of that money here for the most part.
For the Tiger King Netflix thing?
Yeah, I don't think he gets any of that money.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
mean, because, well, for one, he's in jail here, but
you can still make money when you're in jail.
You can still make money, but I think this was like something that was done regardless of whether or not like Joe Exotic was really involved here, because they have like a bunch of footage from like him shooting his internet show from a docuseries or like I
just feel like you can't
beforehand
use his likeness or his name without his permission.
I mean, yeah.
I'm sure he's making money off this.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how that
or one of his husbands. I don't know.
He's only got one now here, but yeah. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what the logistics of that is, but yeah.
Yeah, so for the show, for the movie, I don't really see the appeal, but I guess if Nic Cage is part of it, it might be interesting to check out.
I mean, it's going to be a curiosity thing. It's like, okay, how crazy is Nic Cage going to go off in this movie here? And is he going to actually lose weight so it could be like a skinny Joe Exotic? Or is he just going to be old Nic Cage build here?
I feel like he has a similar build, or at least young Nic Cage does. But I don't know. I haven't seen Nic Cage in anything in a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I was entertained by Tiger King, but I don't understand why we need so many adaptions, just because here's the thing. We have live footage, raw footage of the actual person, and they are larger than life. And the fact that, like, this whole thing is not like a scripted show, and it's actually like reality, and it's an actual series and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can't really get better than that here. It's like the real thing.
Yeah.
So I don't understand like why we feel like there needs to be an adaptation when we don't. I mean, unless there's like, you're going to be covering things that the show doesn't cover, that there's not footage of here or something along those lines. But
then it's just hearsay.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, and I feel like, if there's like something that went, unused from the show, I feel like it would have been already in the show, or like if there was like some ground that the show didn't cover, it's like, I don't understand why it wouldn't have been covered by the show. I feel like, you're just kind of really trying to grasp at straws and really reach for something that's not there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So in other TV news, we have a Community reunion. Now this is not done nearly as well as the Parks and Rec reunion, not even close to. But we're getting something, I guess, is what we should be excited for.
Which, I mean, that's, I mean, when's the last time we really got anything, community related, and anything that was like, not regarding like cancellation or something like that.
Right.
Those lines.
Yeah. I mean, Ken Jeong and Joel McHale, since the quarantine, have been doing a podcast.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, called The Darkest Timeline.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they just have people on like from Community and talk about like their episodes that they liked. And so I haven't seen all of them. I think Gillian's been on one, who played Britta.
Mm-hmm.
Yvette Nicole Brown, who played Shirley, has been on it. I don't think Donald or Danny or Allison have been on it.
I've been on it. Okay.
So definitely not Chevy Chase. I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was still alive, to be honest. I was trying to figure that out because I have been rewatching Community, and I was like, man, he's probably like late 60s in the show, like maybe mid to late 60s while he was filming, and that was 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So he's got to be old.
No.
So yeah, speaking of Chevy Chase, it'll include the whole main cast. So we get Donald Glover back, aka Troy Barnes, aka the best part of the show.
Yep, we get Abed.
We got Abed. Yeah.
We get pretty much the main.
No Chevy though.
Yeah, no Chevy, because I mean the episode that they're doing is actually revolving around his funeral. This is
okay.
Yeah, because it's the table read where the polygraph guy comes in and he's reading off Pierce's will, and basically they have to answer the questions in order to like actually get something from the will.
Right.
And yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think this is an episode I would have chosen for them to table read, to be honest. But
yeah, but I mean, it's one of those ones where it's like, okay, what episode can you have like a table read and not like lose like the effect of like not having like an actual like actual set and crew, like maybe the Dungeons and Dragons episode or something along those lines here.
You still have to have someone play Chevy though.
You do,
or Pierce Hawthorne. But I mean, Dan could have done that. Dan Harmon.
I guess he could have. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they just chose one to do without that. Because there's very little to choose from that has Troy in it that doesn't have Chevy Chase's character Pierce in it. Because they left in the same season.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
because I think Pierce was the beginning of season 5, right?
He makes like a appearance, but
it's like a hologram.
It's a hologram, and
then I think like Donald Glover leaves like episode 5. I want to say
somewhere around there. I don't know, like a couple episodes early on in the season.
This is season 5, episode 4, correct?
This I don't know which episode this is. I think it might be roughly around there, but it's a season 5 episode. It's going to be a live virtual table read. So,
so I'm guessing like a Zoom call.
Yeah, basically. And then it's also going to be doing like a Q&A afterwards for the fans. So, and Dan Harmon obviously is going to be involved. I'm assuming Dan Harmon's going to be playing the part of the polygraph test guy. Yeah,
I'm sure.
And probably like the other people that were in the room.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be on YouTube. It's May 18th, 2:00. Pacific Standard Time,
which is kind of a weird time to do it at, I guess.
It kind of is, yeah. But
I get it.
But I'll just watch it after I get off work, I guess. But
so for me, it just kind of seems like a downgrade from like a Parks and Rec thing. You can't top what they did.
Oh, Parks and Rec, yeah.
Right now, you can't. Like if you were to wait until this is over and actually shoot an episode, then you could.
Yeah.
I'm still excited. Troy Barnes will be back because, like I said, I think the show went. There was a huge slope when he left as far as like the writing, the comedy involved in the show. It just died, in my opinion.
I mean, he definitely left a void for certain.
Yeah, and they just weren't able to fill it. It doesn't matter what new characters they brought in.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see kind of the cast back with Donald being a part of it. If Donald wasn't a part of it, I probably wouldn't even watch it, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, I just, like I said, I'm not the biggest Joel McHale fan. Sure. I like Danny Pudi.
Yeah.
I like Yvette Nicole Brown, but I don't really like the other people. Like, not as people, but just as I don't care about their work.
Well,
I guess.
their character, or like their story.
I like Ken Jeong. I like Chang. Like,
yeah.
I think he's really funny. I think Ken Jeong's funny, but
yeah, but I mean, Ken Jeong is not like necessarily like getting the most screen time in that show. Like
no.
To like the other people.
No, I'm talking about now, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Donald Glover's someone who I followed some of his work, obviously, and
Childish Gambino here, and he's doing Atlanta, I think too.
Yeah, I watched for season 1 of Atlanta. I need to watch the rest of it, but he was Simba, the new Lion King,
Lando.
He was Lando.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad to see that these people still have each other's contact information. They're still on good terms with each other. So
yeah,
hashtag 6 seasons of the movie, make it happen.
I mean, I think they can.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like a movie is a lot easier project to film than a television show, just because you're having to spend less time shooting footage here.
Yeah.
So, and plus, I mean, Joe McHale has been doing a lot of stuff with Netflix. He had the Joe McHale show where he's like doing the news, and then
the Tiger King after show.
Yeah, the Tiger King after show. So, and then obviously Community just got onto Netflix. So
yeah.
So I think, if Netflix wants to do a movie, the time is right.
This is a whole side note. Maybe it's just a rant of mine. So they have the Darkest Timeline podcast. Him and Ken Jeong are the hosts of it.
Yeah.
Dude, their audio quality is trash.
Is it?
And they have a producer, and I'm like, fire that guy. And their graphic is horrible.
Well, okay.
Like, I'm not any of those things. I'm not an audio engineer. Neither is Dorian.
No.
We're able to make it work, for the podcast. Dorian does the editing for like what you guys hear basically. Mm-hmm. And neither of us have any background in that, and they have like a professional dude doing it, and it's not good.
Are they doing it via like Skype or like
something like that?
That might be the reason why, just because.
But they have like nice microphones. It looks like,
right?
And I'm like, with what you found, because we were doing this show
remotely
for a while before stuff in our area got lifted to where we could start doing it again, at the studio, but I don't know. I maybe I'm a snob now because I'm like we have good audio quality and they don't, and they have like 50,000 subscribers over on their YouTube channel. And,
yeah. Well, I mean, I've definitely noticed from like the podcasts I've been listening to lately, because they've been doing like Skype video stuff, and pretty much all their quality for the most part is definitely a downgrade for them. And I think where we got lucky, at least just for right now, is we didn't have any video content.
That's true.
So I think that might be where the difference might be potentially. I don't know.
But in other news, so in the same vein as like these TV shows, we have Space Force finally got a trailer.
Yeah.
So what are kind of your impressions of this trailer? Does it make you excited? Does it not really do too much for you? What's going on?
To be honest, I wasn't really all that impressed by this trailer. Just to be completely honest, I don't know. I just didn't really feel like I got a really good handle of like, okay, this show is going to be funny in this way here type of thing. And then it kind of almost seems like this is more of like the tone of like kind of like a Will Ferrell, like kind of like an Anchorman movie or something along those lines here. And I was kind of surprised like how mature the humor is going to be because like, I figured that, with Greg Daniels and Steve Carell involved, and this is kind of supposed to be essentially a workplace comedy, just
that's what
involving
it is.
them. Involving the military.
Yeah.
I figured they were going to kind of go after the same demographic as Parks and Rec and The Office, managed to scoop up here. But it kind of looks like they're kind of going for a little bit more of an older demographic. So I don't know. I mean, just right now, I'm not impressed. I mean, I'll still watch probably a couple episodes and see if it actually turns things around, just because, I mean, it's kind of hard to, I feel like, do a trailer for like something that's comedy based and not give away your best jokes or your biggest laughs.
Yeah, and I think it's extremely hard to do a trailer for a new comedy series, like you said. So I'm not taking this for like what I'm gonna hope. I hope the series is good.
Oh, I do.
I think there's a lot of expectation riding on it especially from Netflix.
Yeah.
Because this is, I think, at least the first workplace comedy Netflix series that I've wanted to watch. I don't know if there has been any others.
Yeah.
At least not one of this magnitude where someone like Greg Daniels and Steve Carell are associated with it.
Right. No, there's definitely a pedigree that's going on here. So.
But yeah, I was really surprised by the kind of the content in the trailer. They throw an F-bomb in there. I really hope this is not part of the normal language of the show, because you're going to lose so many viewers that like all like the younger millennials, like, or not, I guess Gen Zers.
Yeah.
So like take middle school, high school kids, like, that maybe this show's not going to be something that they're able to watch because of the adult content. And so I'm hoping, I want this show to succeed. I want this show to be good because the cast is good.
Yeah.
We don't have something like this other than Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I love. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know. Like, it makes me more fearful for this show, seeing what I saw. It doesn't alleviate anything for me. It's kind of like, what's interesting is like we literally only got like talking lines from a few people. We didn't get any thing from Ben Schwartz or Jimmy O Yang or Lisa Kudrow. What's the girl's Gina something?
I don't know.
But which are supposed to be like the main build cast. We didn't really get any talking lines from any of them or situations even that they're in.
Yeah.
We just got like more of Steve's character, which
I mean, he's going to be
Mark. I think
he's going to be the main character.
Yeah, he'll be the main character.
So I mean, it makes sense that they would focus more on him. But
totally, to me, it seems like because he has kind of an accent, he's kind of like a southern drawl a little bit, or like a graveliness to his voice.
Yeah,
which to me just it makes me think that it's Michael Scott playing a character
or something like that.
Yeah. And so I was like, why did you do an accent? I don't like that. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just a way to differentiate himself from Michael Scott. Yeah, I mean, no, it's again, it's, I just kind of had a thought as you were talking. It's like, if you were to like make a trailer for like, say, The Office or Parks and Rec and stuff like that, it's like, I don't feel like you could really like make a good trailer just based off of like not knowing who these characters are, what they're about, or the dynamic with them and all that. So I think this is honestly just something that, we'll just have to watch and see. And, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. But yeah. I mean, I am a little worried that, you know, they are just going to be leaning into more of like, you know, just like the mature side of like this show rather than like actually just having, you know, clever writing, you know, just carry the weight, because that's what Parks and Rec and The Office did well. And I think that's why those shows are really well liked here. It's just because clever writing can be appreciated by anybody.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that as someone who loves comedy, it is 10 times harder to be a clean comedian than it is to be someone who throws shock value words in there. Sure. Which is why I appreciate those guys a lot more, like Gaffigan or Nate Bargatze.
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, so like those shows like Parks and Rec, you know, obviously they would have curse words that be bleeped out, which is also funny.
Yeah.
Do that if you want to do it, because you can still have those people watch it. But
sure.
when the joke is revolved around a curse word for shock value, it's cheap writing.
No, it is.
It's cheap writing. And so
well, by any chance, have you seen any of that Harley Quinn show that came out to DC? No. So I didn't watch like any episodes. I just watched like little bits and pieces on YouTube just because I heard some things, like some positive things about it. And all of it is just completely shock value, just like completely just focused on like, you know, dropping like, you know, the F-bomb or something like that. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that there's no clever writing in this. This is just pretty all much just basically just shock value for, you know, a Batman cartoon show, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate.
All right, moving on. Disney Plus orders a National Treasure TV show, and there's also talks of a movie coming out. Now, the series is in development at Disney. It's going to follow a younger cast. It's not going to follow the original cast.
Right.
But Nic Cage, he won't be on the show, but he will be the central focus in the movie.
Yeah.
So, and that's a third National Treasure. I was not the biggest fans of those movies. I didn't really watch them, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I just missed the boat, I guess. But
I saw them, and, you know, the first National Treasure, I like the concept of it here just because I really do like colonial American history, like 1700s, 1776 era and stuff like that. Just because,
America.
Yeah, you know, there's like a lot of conspiracy and stuff like that, you know, with the Freemasons at that time, and it's no, I just really like, you know, that period of history, and I've actually been to like some of the places that they shot in the movie as well here, and
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not super interested on this one, but you know, surprised me.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, that's kind of all that they have for that right now. I'm honestly like, it seems like these are already kind of we're already shooting like before Corona, like we didn't know about it, or they're just really far in development because it made it seem like this is going to happen soon. I don't know how soon.
Yeah. Well, I think Disney Plus is trying to say, hey, we got more content coming your way. Don't cut the cable. We know Clone Wars is done. We know Mandalorian season 2 and Falcon and Winter Soldier is a little ways off, but you know, please still be our friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. So yeah, I mean that's it for the Disney news, I guess. Demolition Man 2? ?
Yeah. So I guess this is a movie that's been trying to get off the ground for couple of years. And
is the OG cast coming back?
Well, I don't know if you can bring back Wesley Snipes because
I thought he was out of jail.
Well, no, he's out of jail, but he died at the end of the
yeah.
movie, if I recall right. But no, apparently Sylvester Stallone is like the main driving force behind this movie getting made. So obviously he'll be coming back, but yeah, so I guess
I also heard rumors another Rocky movie potentially.
Oh gosh. So wait. So instead of a Creed 3, we'll get like a Rocky 500 or some whatever they're up to these days.
He'd be training someone else.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of over that, to be honest.
No, I am too. It's like
Creed's good. Creed 1 and 2 are good, but
yeah, I have still yet to see those movies.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I mean, Sylvester Stallone, I feel like if he wants to make a movie, it's going to happen. I mean, they made a Rambo movie. They've made, you know, multiple Rocky movies and, you know, 2 spinoffs as of right now. So and he also made like Expendables on like a shoestring budget and managed to get like, all the action stars of the 80s into his movie. So I think if he wants to make something, it's going to happen, basically.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's a phone call away for him. Like, he's friends with all those guys, like all those action stars.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll happen. I guess, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've even watched like the whole movie of the first Demolition Man. I only caught like maybe half of that movie and like the last half on TV or something.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting, I guess.
Yeah. Taika Waititi is set for Star Wars. So he's set to direct a new Star Wars movie, and this has been rumored for a long time, and now it's confirmed by Disney. Basically, they finally announced that he's going to be kind of co-writing and directing this movie. I don't know. Did they say who he's co-writing with?
I think they did, but it's nobody I recognize here for a writer.
Now, we don't have any details on what this is going to be. I am curious if this was maybe something that what's their names? I can't even remember right now.
Kathleen Kennedy?
No, the guys that were writing together and then dropped from Star Wars.
Oh, Lord and Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
this is something that they were, because the comedy side of that is kind of something that Taika is familiar with.
Yeah.
They have similar writing styles, I think, and so maybe he's picking up where they left off on whatever this project is. We don't know.
Well,
but
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Lord and Miller working on the Solo movie, and then they had to bring in Ron Howard to finish it, basically?
Yeah, but I was talking about the dudes from Game of Thrones, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Denny Aboth, or I forget how you pronounce
Weiss.
it. Yeah, Weiss and
yeah. So maybe it's that. Maybe they just want to go a different tone. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll kind of see what happens. So I am a fan of Thor Ragnarok. I think it's the best Thor movie. And he did a really good job with The Mandalorian. And so I think that was probably his ticket into directing more for them.
Yeah.
Now, with all the directors they had for Mandalorian, they could each do their own spinoff series, and I'd probably watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what kind of happens from this. Like we said, there's no other details. It's just that he's officially greenlit to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and it's interesting news. I mean, it definitely seems like we are going to get like a comedy-based Star Wars movie, just because that's his shtick,
Yeah.
I think pretty much every movie he's done, whether it's action, drama, superhero, what have you, it has like an undercurrent of comedy or not really an undercurrent. It's pretty much the comedy.
Yeah. I mean,
focus.
Started as a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I didn't really like Ragnarok. I haven't seen enough of his like movies, whether or not to judge him, whether or not I really like him as a director. But yeah, I mean, I just learned that he was the guy who directed the finale for The Mandalorian. So yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of just wait and see approach, I guess, here.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So yeah, what do you think it's going to be about?
Knowing him, Ewoks
and Baby Yoda.
I mean, I don't know. Probably Ewoks, Gungans, Porgs, basically all the annoying things in the Star Wars universe here.
It could be.
Matter of fact, why don't we put Babu Frick in there? Just
why not? I hate that character. Let's throw
round them all out here.
I don't get how people like Babu Frick. That's a whole thing, but I think it's.
I mean, he's disgusting Baby Yoda, basically.
He's a little filthy rat, basically, is what he is. Anyway, yeah. So Taika Waititi, that's. I have no idea what it's going to be about. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Maybe Chris Hemsworth will be a Star Wars star now.
I mean, yeah. Who knows? I mean, yeah. We'll see. All
right, let's talk some gaming news.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order has some DLC and some news that they came out with over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
What do we got for that, Dorian?
So it was May 4th, just this past Monday, And Jedi Fallen Order got free DLC update. So they got a new game plus, they got combat challenges, and some new cosmetics for your lightsaber, your ponchos, or like your outfits or whatever here. And
new lightsaber colors?
Maybe. I think you can get like the Inquisitor lightsaber now.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So and following this news, the CEO of EA says Fallen Order is officially the start of a new franchise. So have you been in Fallen Order yet?
I'm close. No, I haven't beaten it.
Because, I mean, they definitely left it off.
I'm sure they left it open.
Yeah, they left it open for a sequel. But no, that being said, it's now official that it is getting a sequel, because I was kind of a little worried about that, just because I think EA has like a 10-year deal with Star Wars in terms of like being able to have exclusive rights to make like the main Star Wars games outside of like, Lego Star Wars or whatever here.
Sure.
But yeah, and so I was kind of thinking like, okay, they might do this game and then they might not be able to because they don't have the license anymore here. But yeah, so, but I think the most shocking part of this news is EA gave away free DLC,
free stuff
without any strings attached here.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's surprising.
I'm
pretty excited about this news. I like the video game.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot to explore with this era.
Yeah.
And I think the games only get better. Like I have some like obviously constructive criticism for like parts of the combat and customization and stuff like that. That could be a lot better in the next game.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they're going to have that opportunity to do that and kind of just build on what is already a pretty good game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm glad that they are willing to go with a single player, or like actually put more chips down on the board for a single player game that they're not trying to exploit the crap out of here.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
they're not trying to nickel and dime.
Exactly. Which, I mean, because their whole MO is like, okay, we need to do like a multiplayer Destiny-like type of thing, or, something that we can like really net a lot of cash, like make, a lot of microtransactions, stuff like that. But it's so that on that note, what do we want to see from the sequel here?
For me, like I said earlier, just better customization, not just cosmetic, but I think, like obviously you had the tree, right? You had the abilities you could upgrade. I think it'd be cooler to be able to even get more specific with those abilities. Like, oh, I want my force push to be more powerful. Like, I want to be able to have this ability. Maybe there's combinations of abilities you'll be able to use together. Get kind of, I guess, just make the play style more personal, like for you, how you want to play.
Sure.
And probably the lightsaber combat I think was good, but it could be better.
Yeah.
And even, spoilers for those of you who haven't gotten that far in the game, but there's a part where you get to have a double-sided blade if you find it, right? Yeah. And you can pull that apart, and it's two blades, but only for like a couple seconds.
Yeah, no, it's not a...
it's not a just dual, like two lightsaber single hand.
Yeah, you're not changing like modes or anything.
No, that would be cool to have. Like, okay, I want to do just like a standard style. Oh no, I want to do dual blade, like Maul style, and have that be the way I play, or to like one lightsaber in each hand style, and then upgrade that. Yeah. So I think they could do stuff along those lines, have their own trees for those lightsaber skills. Yeah. And even that'd be cool to like pick your different forms for your lightsaber skills. Here's how I want to play. I want to play more defensively. Yeah. I want to play super aggressive, acrobatic.
Like you could like say get a skill point for like Shatter Point, or you can get a skill point for like Obi-Wan's defensive lightsaber style here.
Yep.
But they kind of did a little something like that with the skill tree, but not as fleshed out as like what you're talking about here. But yeah, I think they kind of got the right idea with it, because if you just turned on like, one side of the lightsaber, that was like, more focused for like, one-on-one, and it did more damage one-on-one. The double-sided lightsaber, it focus more on like, kind of crowd control, like, dealing with like, multiple enemies. So I kind of would like to see them explore it a little bit more further with the dual wielding and just kind of go along those lines, like you were saying. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just some things for me. I mean, I would like definitely less bugs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that game did get buggy at times, and also tighter controls. Just something to be comparable to, like, say, Dark Souls or something like that,
sure.
or Bloodborne. More force powers.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't want to like have to retread and learn like the old force powers that I did from the first game, because that just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I think they should either expand upon them or give you new force powers and all that, and just keep the ones that you already got. And probably a time jump. I'm thinking, like, I want to see, maybe there's something like in between, like, episode 4 and 5, maybe 5 and 6, just because there's a lot of places you can explore in those gaps here. And also less of an island structure for like the level design. Like, how you pull up the map and there's just like a bunch of like, you just go to one area. It's like a platform and just like a lot of like cliffs and gaps and stuff like that. I want less of that and just kind of more like, I don't know, just regular land, I guess, or something.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that here.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think they have a good basis to work with. And
no, they definitely got the foundation. I mean, obviously this is going to probably come out PS5, Xbox Series X here. So
the Switch. Just kidding.
We can dream.
It's not coming
we
out
can
on
dream.
that.
I mean, heck, we got The Witcher on Switch, and I think we're getting like another big game that's supposed to be coming out. I forget which one. Oh, I think Red Dead is supposed to.
Red Dead, BioShock.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. But
whatever.
We'll see.
So speaking of video games, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be smaller than the previous games.
Yeah.
So bigger's not always better, guys.
No, and basically Ubisoft is essentially addressing like one of the criticisms they got from their last Assassin's Creed game, that it kind of felt like bloated in areas here, which I totally agree with.
Yeah.
And the reason why I put this story on here is just because I think it's an interesting discussion that I think more studios need to be having when they're developing an open world game. Is, you don't need to have like a big open world and like have like maybe about 60 hours of like, actual interesting content, but you want to try to push that time limit up to like, 100 hours here or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
or stretch that.
I don't know.
Stretch that out to 100 hours.
I mean, I don't have the time to put in 100 hours into a game.
Yeah.
Like, if you make it shorter and just really good, I'll play it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, they want to get their money's worth, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and where I'm at with open world games is, here's the thing. I like open world games. I feel like the strategy is kind of adopting the Skyrim strategy, where you can play literally hundreds of hours on end and still not see everything or done everything, and for people who are completionists, who like to see at least the big chunk or the majority of the game, it's kind of a nightmare here if you don't have like time or money here. Well, or just time, I guess.
And even just the travel to the different missions, I'm like, just let me fast travel there. I don't want to ride a horse for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, you better not play Red Dead because that's.
I hate that.
But yeah, they. I mean,
even Metal Gear was like that though. You just have to ride a horse for like 5 to 10 minutes to go to this next.
This
bad guy.
Area, Yeah, I mean, because the thing is like, I feel like a lot of open world games, I mean, here's the thing. Exploration in open worlds, I get it. It's one of the main reasons why you play a big open world game. But I think there's a different way of going about it. Like, Breath of the Wild.
Totally.
They really don't tell you where to go. They just spread out like a lot of like their content, like their shrines, There's stuff that you want to see and all that. They spread that out and they made like, actually traversing the world fun. It's like, okay, right. Maybe I'll go up to the top of this mountain and just glide around and see what I see here. Yeah. Or maybe I'll get on a horse, or maybe I'll fast travel. Who knows? But
do what you want to do.
Yeah, do what you want to do. Exactly. But no, I think it is an issue just because, everybody wants, the big open world game. And it's like, that's fine, but like make the content more interesting. Like if you have like 100 hours of interesting content, for the entire game, great. I'll probably play it if that's the case. If it's just like, okay, we got like maybe about 40 to 20 hours of like actual good content, and the rest of the stuff is kind of like fetch quests and side missions that aren't really all that interesting, I'm out,
Right, totally.
So,
well, we'll kind of see, I guess. It sounds like they're going the right direction.
Yeah.
All right, roundtable review, Dorian.
Well,
what's up?
We might as well rename this whole section just
Clone Wars.
What did we think about Clone Wars this week? Because that's all it's been for the last couple of weeks, but it's the last week.
It's the last week of Clone Wars. There's not really anything on the horizon, so who knows what we'll be reviewing, if anything, in the coming weeks.
If anything. But, yeah, so we got the series finale here. So
the series finale. Yes. So Clone Wars finale, season 7, episode 12. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this episode had pretty much everything Clone Wars needed to end. I thought it was a great ending to the series. The entirety of the episode really is Rex and Ahsoka trying to get off that Star Destroyer that they've been on.
Yeah.
Because
is it officially a Star Destroyer at that point?
I mean, I don't know the technical term of that's what it is.
For all intents and purposes, yeah.
And so Maul ends up going to basically the hyperdrive room and then destroying all of it.
Yeah.
So this ship that they're on is plummeting into a planet, and they're trying to get off. That's the premise of the whole episode.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now they do a really good job of Ahsoka and Rex. Ahsoka's not wanting to kill any more of these clones. It's not the clones' fault that they're turning, that they're going against them.
Sure, yeah.
So it kind of definitely humanizes, obviously, Ahsoka's intentions, and her. She did a lot of time with these guys. Pretty much her whole teenage / young adult life had been with these guys, like these troopers.
Yeah, well, and even like, I mean, a big portion of this show has been the clone troopers here, and focusing and fleshing them out more than you saw in the movies here, because
big time.
The only one that we really got like any type of like fleshing out in the mainline movies was Cody, and he ends up like just turning on Obi-Wan just like that here. Yeah. So it was kind of, but yeah, other than that, it's like they've actually really done like quite a bit to flesh these guys out and actually make them less of like just mindless drones for the most part.
Yeah, and there's some pretty cool action scenes, on Ahsoka and Rex's part and even Maul's part, but they're trying to get off this Star Destroyer essentially, and Maul ends up stealing the only transport. Mm-hmm. Ahsoka ends up letting him go. She's like force pulling the ship back.
Yeah.
And you could see she could probably just destroy it if she wanted to, and she kind of lets go.
Yeah.
Which is good, like especially, Ahsoka's not that kind of person who's just going to like force her way into it. So they end up finding another transport, which leads into a really cool skydiving scene that Ahsoka's a part of. And, obviously the Star Destroyer crashes into that planet.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's really cool that they ended kind of on was all the helmets that were part of those clone troopers who died in the crash. Ahsoka ends up burying basically, or at least taking their helmets and doing some kind of
ceremony, memorial type deal going on here.
Yeah, so her and Rex are kind of mourning the losses of those clones, and all the clones really.
Yeah.
And just kind of the situation they're in, because who would have thought that they would have been in that situation? Now, this kind of brings light to. There's a quote in Star Wars Rebels where Ezra and the crew, like Kanan, all of them are meeting Rex for the first time,
mm-hmm.
and they mention Ahsoka Tano, and he's like, "Yeah, I was with her since the battle. I can't remember the battle name, the first battle that they fought together to the Siege of Mandalore. And this was years ago that this episode aired.
Yeah. So this is actually us actually seeing like that play out.
Yeah.
Here.
So it just adds more to the Rex character, obviously. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was a really awesome episode. It ends and, Ahsoka leaves her lightsabers that was gifted to her by Anakin or re-gifted to her by Anakin.
Yeah.
She leaves it there, probably knowing Anakin could somehow trace him. I don't know, but kind of bearing that part of her life. I think like the Jedi are no more. Like I wasn't a Jedi anymore anyway, and so I'm just gonna kind of leave this here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of fast forwards some time, and Vader shows up there with his snow troopers and droids and stuff, and he finds Ahsoka's lightsaber. And there's just a lot of really cool shots of, one of the clone helmets that is painted like Ahsoka, and he's kind of leaving in, and you see it in the reflection of the visor.
Of the visor, yeah.
And there's just a lot of symbolism in it. I'm not going to go super deep into that, but overall, just I think a good ending to the Clone Wars itself.
Yeah. No, I think this is the best way you could have ended the Clone Wars for the most part, because you and I were discussing before the show was recording that you can't really do the big finale type thing that you typically would for like most TV shows, just because a lot of the big stuff that's happening at this time is Revenge of the Sith. And so unless you're going to actually, get Ahsoka involved in Anakin and Obi-Wan's lightsaber battle or something like that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And you'd be rewriting Star Wars essentially, which, that would be pretty self-indulgent of Dave Filoni if he did do that.
Yeah, and he wouldn't.
Yeah. But, the last scene where, she's burying the clone troopers and then you have Vader show up finding the lightsaber and all that. That is the best part of this episode.
Yeah.
I do like Maul that he does get to be a baller. I mean, even though it's just just a quick scene of him just legitimately wrecking this ship and essentially being the cause for everything to be destroyed here and all the carnage that basically this whole episode focuses around here. Yeah. It's I think it's good. I do wish we did get some more lightsaber action from Maul in this season, because we really only got one episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
it was a baller episode.
But
so,
yeah.
And they brought Ray Park to do some mocap for that.
They did, yeah, so, I saw that.
Who's the original actor who played Maul, but and stuntman. But so it's kind of bittersweet watching it, because it's the last episode of this series that's that's been pretty good. And I think thinking through the season, really, if you're to watch season 7, just watch the last 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Probably the last 4, to be honest, and that's it. You don't need to watch any of the rest of it.
No, because Bad Batch and the Two Sisters, they never actually come into the finale or the last story arc of this season.
No. Yeah.
This season, I get that some of these episodes are probably episodes that were already done and they were just scrapped when they got canceled or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure of the full story, but I feel like there might have been a better way of presenting it here.
Yeah. So I guess for me, if I were to rate the season in general, probably a 7.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's accurate.
And then if you were to rate the last 4, probably an 8.5 or a 9.
Yeah. No, I mean, the last 4, that's what you tuned in for when you said, okay, we're going to make a final season of Clone Wars. This is going to be tying things together, blah, blah, blah. Really, only the last 4 episodes actually do any of that.
Yeah, I would say it has to be a 9 in order for it to even get a 7, because the rest of it's definitely not even up to snuff. But
yeah,
I would say they probably should have just done these last 4, and then that's it.
That's my own personal feeling. Or they could have even I wouldn't have minded if they expanded that story arc a little bit more.
Yeah, they could have.
If you gave me, let's say, I don't know, 6 episodes altogether, just focusing on Maul, Siege of Mandalore, and the episode 3 tie-in stuff here, that would have been, I think, I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
But nah, just
we didn't even get a Mando Easter egg.
Oh yeah,
and he supposedly was at Siege of Mandalore.
Was he though?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean,
well, that's what I thought. Like when they were doing this, they was going to tie into other stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably see Mando in some capacity because there is supposed to be the Rebels sequel show, isn't there? Like
supposedly,
yeah. So, and I mean, Mando's gonna be popping up in one of the Dave Filoni projects at some point. I mean, obviously Dave Filoni directed an episode, so he's already tied in. So it's just a matter of time. Come on.
I was just hoping to see, I mean, I think that's most of the Mandalores, and he was a foundling. I don't know who was on Mandalore at the time. Like, obviously, he was found before that, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out because
it would have been like Attack of the Clones era,
or like the tail end of the Clone Wars here because it was.
I guess it could have been. Yeah,
because just timeline wise, because he was like about 10 when that when he lost his parents, roughly somewhere around there, 10 or 8, and then there was like about maybe 17 years that passed between episode 3 and
episode 4
and then by the time we're at episode 6 or like past episode 6 and like the Mandalorian timeline, he probably, I don't know, he probably would have been like maybe on the tail end of the Clone Wars here. Maybe hard to say.
Anyway, all right, well, that's it for Roundtable Review, and thank you guys for listening to the podcast. We appreciate it. Make sure you go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Help us out a lot. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Have an awesome week. Remember, everyone's a nerd about something.